Well, what's going on, gang? Welcome back to A Therapeutic Edge. It is very nice to have you here today. I've got something on the table that I've been looking for, on and off, for a very long time. I love CKF knives. I've got 4 or 5 of them now. In fact, I'm going to go get them. I really like CKF's the way they use the materials, the way the materials come together. This is the Eagle Rock. This is a Trezola design. This is the Ablaya. This is just an absolute monster. The Blava. Probably my favorite knife for blade to handle ratio, good times. I like Persian style or trailing point knives, as you can see. And then another Rassenti design. This is the Persian. That's my entire CKF collection. I've had others. Over the years, I've had a bunch of others, but these are the ones that stayed. So let's go ahead and get these other ones out of the way. This is a great knife. Thing is just ridiculous, and I love it. The Blava here is probably my favorite of them for daily use because of the amount of belly on that blade. The only bummer is, I mean, it's thumb stud deploy and a bit of a top flip, but this is a great knife. And then there is this. The Rassenti designed Persian. This is integral, right? This one actually, it came from the factory with the, I think it's Timascus. Sorry, it's a Timascus clip. But I've had this for a while now, and I know that when CKF wants to make a really good integral, they do a fantastic job. So a few years ago, I had the Snafu, which is what this is, 2.0. I did a review. It belonged to somebody else. I really liked it. The guy offered it to me, but back then, I couldn't afford it. And I let it go, and I thought, well, you know, I'll get another one someday. And then they're really hard to find. So recently, I was poking around over on Blade Binge, which again is a very dangerous website, and this came up. The Snafu is a remarkable combination of elements that come together to make what is, for me, your experience may vary, just about the perfect pocket knife. Blade to handle ratio is fantastic. This hollow ground M398 blade, this is number 209 of I have no idea how many. But there is a light hollow grind on this blade. It is this beautiful satin. The only thing I don't love about this knife is this point right there. Because they did that, when you sharpen this thing, you're eventually going to sharpen that little tip off, which is kind of a bummer. I've actually seen people sharpen it off on purpose just to kind of get it out of the way. I'm not going to do that, but I understand why they do. One of the things that you can do, see, do I even have one on the table right now? Hold on. So I don't have the Tanto version of this anymore. This is the Riot Made 229. This is a Chavez. I've had this knife for a very long time. But you can see this is a hollow grind. It's a compound grind, right? So it's thicker at the tip than it is here. On the Tanto version of this knife, this line ends right at the Tanto point. And what that does is it gives you kind of a sharpening guide. They didn't do that here. And so that is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass over time. Beyond that, I have zero complaints. This thing is remarkable. Let's take a look at what you get. Now, these are not inexpensive. I think on the used market, they're going for $600 or $700 right now. You definitely pay for the privilege. that'd be up to you. I didn't pay that much. I paid more than I wanted to, but I wanted it. So you kind of roll your dice, you take your chances. The design on this one is a little more intricate than the 2.0. This is the large, by the way, the full size. They do make smaller versions. I didn't want that. So this is integral. It has titanium. It's all titanium with carbon fiber inlays. It's got a very sort of straightforward pocket clip. But if you look right there, they actually notched out the carbon fiber here a little bit so that it gives the pocket clip a little better ramp. It's just a well-sorted idea. It's got a little bit of jimping milled into it. It's got a very large lanyard hole if you're into that sort of thing. It's got a steel lock bar with an over-travel stop. Now, the lock bar insert, steel lock bar insert. I could speak. On this one is black, so it doesn't show up quite as well. That's kind of his thing. Where's a good one? As you can see, what that is generally is a little piece of metal that's attached to the steel lock bar insert that contacts the frame on the inside to keep you from pushing the bar too far out. Most of you know that, but some of you don't. This blade has got a beautiful fuller. It's got jimping that is both aggressive and actually useful, although my hands are really big, so I fall just to the outside edge of it. This thing is super nice. Let's take a look at what you get, shall we? The Snafu 4.0, you're talking about a little over 3 1/4, overall about 3 3/4 inches of M398, which is really nice blade steel. Yep, just about 3 3/4. You're talking about 1, 2, 3, a little over 3 1/4 inches of cutting. It's got a very generous forward choil. The grip area from behind that very noticeable flipper tab is a full, that's actually 4 1/16. If you add that forward choil, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1/4. I have big hands, and I can use the forward choil if you're going to get up and like feather. But honestly, keep your hands in a safe position when you use the knife. Tip to tail, we are coming in at 8 3, a little over 8 3/4 inches, so coming up on 9 inches. It's a nice full-size knife, closed profile, closed length, excuse me, 5 1/16. In the pocket, we line that up. You're talking about just shy, right up here, just about 1.5 inches. Right? You're going to know it's there. It's not overwhelming. Action is just superb. It's got a little, I think that is Damascus pivot collar, but it's muted in color. This whole thing is like really done beautifully. It's got nice dark titanium. These are not thumb studs. These are blade stops, just as they are on the Persian here, right? So they do a really remarkable job. I really like this knife. I really do. And I think that when you chase something for a long period of time, you... Hang on a sec, gang. Okay, sorry. My phone was ringing. That sucks. When you chase something for a long time, you put yourself in this weird position. I'll give you an example. The Eagle Rock here, I wanted one. I chased it and chased it. I did not like the generation that was the red carbon fiber, so I was being picky. I got it. It is amazing. It's also not entirely what I want. I don't know why. I love his designs. It's a great knife, but I don't love it as much as this one, for instance. So when you chase something, you run that risk of getting it and then not loving it as much as you thought you might have. That has not been the case. Why is this? There we go. With the Snafu. It is everything that I'd hoped it would be. It's freaking fantastic. Now, Metal Complex, of course, has got a version of this that is extra fancy. This one is much more my style. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's a little ridiculous. It's also everything I love in a pocket knife. But in truth, and I want to be clear, the Eagle Rock here is amazing. CKF just makes amazing knives. It's just, I'm a little more, well, I like knives with a little more belly, turns out. The Eagle Rock here is very pokey. And I don't do a lot of that. So in my daily cutting, knives with more belly are more better. And this one, even though it's got that little notch, has got plenty of belly up here at the tip for good cutting. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to own this for a while, and then I'm going to come back and do a comparison against the other Rassenti knife that I have, which is the Persian, and I'll let you know which one I like better over time. This one is going to be hard to beat. This is an excellent knife. These are still available, by the way. Whereas these sell out almost instantly because I think of the more aggressive design. These don't. And I'm not 100% sure I can tell you why. Maybe the design is a little, I don't know, a little less aggressive, maybe? Anyway, I'll put a link in the description to information about this. And you know what? If I can find one for sale, I'll put a link in the description of this video for the Persian here. These are about 600 bucks. CKF is a little bit like Shirogorov. You absolutely pay for the privilege of owning one, but you get what you pay for. Look, I love my Chris Reeves, and I know I'm going to make some folks mad. I've got 4 or 5 of them. They're great knives. You pay at least 100 bucks for the name Chris Reeve, based on materials, based on everything. You're paying a lot. With CKF knives, while you are paying a lot, I kind of never feel like I'm not getting what I pay for. Anyway, this, oh, we gotta wait, don't we? And I gotta do the, yeah. All right, I'm losing my mind. Real quick before we go, last of the specs. All right, that is zeroed. You get 4.5 millimeters of that M398 through the handle. We're talking about 13.8 millimeters. And the Snafu weighs in at 5.4 ounces. It is a solid slab of titanium. It is reasonably thick on the outsides of the hollowed out part for the blade. And they didn't, well, sure, they did notch it to fit this carbon fiber. I'm sure they didn't go that deep. So you're getting a lot of titanium. It's a reasonably thick slice of that M398. Yeah, it's not an ultralight knife, but that's okay. It's not for that. If you're interested in a knife, don't give up. I hate FOMO. I hate FOMO sales. I do not like when companies make 6 of a thing when they could sell 600, but that's kind of the world we live in. I'm not going to tell you to shop at Blade Binge. I'm not going to tell you to shop at Arizona Custom Knives. I am going to say if you are looking for an older knife, go poke around. The prices are not unreasonable. You can always reach out to the seller, particularly on Blade Binge. You can reach out to the seller and talk to them about the pricing. They may not be receptive, but you can do it. It is a marvelous resource for the knife community at large because knives that come and go aren't always 100% loved by the people that grabbed them. Until Blade Binge, and I mean, look, there's Reddit and there's groups on Facebook, but Reddit and Facebook, I don't have to say any more. Sites like Blade Binge give you the opportunity to find those knives and pick one up. This is an example of that. Anyway, I appreciate your time today. If you have any questions about this or any of my knives, feel free to ask down in the comments. Please remember to like the video. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but I'd love to have you here on a regular basis. I promise most of my videos are a lot more organized than this. Take care of yourselves and take care of each other. We'll see you next time.